Good afternoon guys. Today's video I'm going to be taking you all the way through from growing onions from seed all the way up to harvest. So again, this is a from seed to harvest video, so I've got sections of video throughout the year so you can sort of understand each step of the process as I did. So to start off your seeds, you're going to be looking to do this sort of December time or January time from seed, and all you need to do is put in some sort of multi-purpose compost in some pots. Make some sort of holes in the pots ready for the seeds, only about 1 centimetre deep. They are quite small seeds, and then all that's left to do is to start dropping your seeds in. Cover them, water them, and then wait till they germinate. So it's the middle of February and your onions should look something a little bit like this. Pretty much blades of grass. But what you want to be doing when you're planting them out is about 6 inches apart. So if you're doing multi-sown onions, you may want to give them a little bit more room, especially if you've got like a clump of like say 4 onions, but roughly 6 inches, maybe a little bit more apart, will give you a nice spacing. Now, I'll try and get a picture, but the root system on these aren't particularly developed. They're very much like a single root, whereas something like the broad beans, which I'm planting out at the same time, have a much more established root. It's much denser and there's much more sort of split and forked and things. But all you do is pop them in. You can go a little bit deeper with them. You haven't got to worry too much about like the stem rotting or anything like you do with some plants. And I just roughly hold the blades up out of the way, and it doesn't matter if they flop onto the ground. They will sort of right themselves and sort themselves out. So that's pretty much it. That's planting out your onions. Right, so here we are on the 11th of May, and you know, there's not loads that happens to the onions. They start off as blades of grass, and basically gradually they get thicker. And the important thing here is don't worry if the tops of them get picked at by birds and things. The plants are really tough, and I'll do some close-ups here of some of the healthier looking ones, but the plants will pull through. They will sort of make a recovery. So yeah, that's onions from seed on the 11th of May. So here we are on the 13th of July, and as you can see, since we were here in May, the onions have massively grown. Not only have the leaves got thicker, but down below they've actually started to really bulb up now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to harvest a couple and sort of talk you through the next steps. So harvesting onions is pretty straightforward. You sort of wait till the bulb's about a size that you're happy with, and then reach down, and I sort of just do a sort of twisting motion, and then the roots sort of come free. And yeah, there you go, nice and easy. I'll do one more. Yeah, that's better. I'm just going to harvest a couple more, and then we'll talk a bit more about the sort of drying and storing process. And sorry, before I move on, over here I've got sort of 2 onions growing next to each other. So with this one, obviously if I just wanted this bigger one, I can sort of twist it without damaging the sort of roots of the other one. So once you've harvested your onions, you can eat them straight away, chop them up, salads, cook with them, whatever. But most of us sort of want to dry the onions so that they store better, and you can use them for longer, basically. So in order to do that, you need to dry them out, and to dry them out, they just need to be sort of warm and sort of dry, basically. So I'm quite fortunate. I've got this sort of plastic greenhouse here, which, because it's got sort of open shelves, it allows a lot of sort of air circulation. So I pretty much always do mine in here. But what you could do is hang them up inside your house, maybe a conservatory or somewhere, or at least just somewhere that gets a lot of ventilation, and yeah, it's nice and dry. I probably wouldn't do a shed or anything, because quite often sheds can be a bit damp at times, but yeah, there you go. So there you go. I hope you liked that video. Once the onions have dried a bit and the leaves have gone crispy, the leaves can be snipped away, and then the onions are good for storing, a lot like what you buy in the supermarket. Now, overall, onions are pretty easy. You can start them off sort of December, January time. You'll then plant them out sort of February, March time. You haven't got to wait for the frost. They are quite frost tolerant to an extent. And then come sort of July time, you're looking at harvesting. And that's all there is to it. So I really hope you like this video. And if you do, don't forget to like and subscribe.